Okay, so class number 3 or meeting number 3 or whatever it is, right?
Uh-huh.
So today I chose to start with before I go through the knowledge, well, this is also part of it, of course, but before I go to the knowledge of the types, and I had something to start with, kind of things I've experienced and heard also from you and from others and from my place. So kind of presenting again another aspect of experiment. Yeah, we hear that often. Experiment with your strategy and inner authority, right?
Uh-huh.
Whoops. So, yeah, I actually was curious. I took the Merriam-Webster, this English dictionary, definition for an experiment. Yeah? An operation or procedure carried out under controlled conditions in order to discover an unknown effect or law, to test or establish a hypothesis, or to illustrate a known law. So this is the dictionary definition that I brought. Now, apart from, well, control conditions, which I might not see that eye to eye, or mind to mind, but the rest is really just understanding this hypothesis, what is this experiment and what are you actually experimenting, and can it go wrong? Yeah, can something even go wrong? So I wanted to put a spotlight on that. So there are kind of things from the Living Your Design, yeah, that you'll get all the material, all the types, all the centers, inner authorities, communication between types. Perhaps we'll go into definition. Yeah, you get all that, and that helps to understand things along with the experimenting. Yeah, because it's about the experience, about living it. Now, what is it about this experiment? Yeah, we're exposed to the strategy in inner authority. Yeah, the strategy that is derived from the type, and we are suggested, advised, asked, invited, whatever it is, to experiment with it. And why am I putting an focus on that in the beginning of this? Every time I feel like, well, so far 3 classes, so I kind of bring something different, something that it would be not just about the knowledge. Yeah, that would direct more to the to allow you to be able to observe, yeah, to be aware of what you're actually doing here. What the hell are we doing here? And so after all this introduction, yeah, the experiment. So there is the basic thing with experiment is your strategy and inner authority, yeah, each type and each inner authority, and see what happens. Now, it is that simple, yeah, just about experimenting. And what the once you get the knowledge, yeah, you get something to experiment with, you just get to see what happens to you, yeah, what happens to your body. You have your own parameters to measure whether the experience is good for you or not. Is it satisfying for you or not? Is it healthy for you or not? Yeah. Regardless if as a generator I would ask you yes no questions and there would come the answers, which is helpful. But eventually, yeah, you're on your own on this journey, and you've got your own criteria for what is, yeah, let's say whether the experiment works for you or not. and you cannot actually go wrong. Yeah. Once you experiment and you hear that yeah, as a generator, perhaps it's better to you move in life with minimum resistance through waiting to respond. This is the strategy. So again, it's a hypothesis. It's for you to discover whether it's correct or not. And that goes to actually any experience. Any experience. Even if that person communicated to me, yeah, and it wasn't clear for me, did he ask me or not? So I experienced it for myself. Instead of putting it out with that friend or that person, I take it back. I get in contact with you or with someone to ask yes, no questions to verify that. Like there can be something can go wrong. Like something can go wrong if I tell that person, I don't know actually. Yeah. Or I had it from my own experience, like this fear in a way of, oh, it's not clear for me what to do. So maybe I don't even tell this friend who doesn't know human design about anything, but I go find it out in a peaceful place. Now there's no wrong or right also in that. Yeah. Just really came out very sharply recently in my experience, this mind that is afraid to make mistakes. Yeah. Again, my place of maybe worrying. Yeah. We all have our different fears. So just kind of, it's really every experience is an experiment. Yeah. And it felt really important for me to emphasize that. And again, what I'm saying is not that it's whether it's right or wrong if you're a generator to find, like you go back, someone asks you, you don't know, and you go back and you ask another friend to help you with yes, no questions. There's really, it's also an experiment. What comes out of it? How do I deal with my experiment with the strategy in inner authority when meeting people? Yeah. And what's the process that evolves that is correct for me out of it? And sometimes it blows in the face, like an experiment, chemical, heavy explosion. Sometimes, wow, oh, wonderful. Sometimes out of the explosion comes a discovery. And sometimes it's okay, it's smooth. Nothing actually happened. Oh, it's working, yeah. Kind of really... I wanted to put this emphasis on that, on the experimenting. Yeah. In the beginning of the journey, of the deconditioning process, there's a lot of fears. What if I'll do it wrong? What if I'm not in my strategy? What if I'm not in my inner authority? What if I don't know? Can I tell someone that I actually don't know? He asked me for an answer, but I don't know. Again, and this, yes, no, I don't know. They're relevant for any type, any inner authority, regardless if you're a generator and you got these ahas, or you're an emotional authority and you're going through your wave, or you're a splenic manifestors or a splenic authority and the heat is not there. Yeah, there's 3 options for a decision to be made. Yes, no, or I don't know. So really, it's just playing with it, experimenting with it, experimenting with the basic knowledge that transforms with a strategy in inner authority. Yeah. By the way, also with sleeping alone, let's say. You get or it's clear for your body from your inner authority to try. You're experimenting with it. Yeah. Whether it's good for you or not. Really, rise to say, don't believe me. Don't believe anything I say, try for yourself. It's about this process, this experiment is about bringing your decision-making life to the body, moving life in minimum resistance, and using the mind, the outer authority, to observe what actually happened. Yeah? And again, through the different aspects of this, whether to share it with the other whether to share it in order to share, or whether to share it in order to empower, whether to share it. Yeah, I'm using this keynote, but whether you speak to someone in order to empower them eventually, he asks for your outer authority, your mind eventually, or whether it's just about sharing your experience, and that's all, like just sharing the story, whether it's about giving support, getting support. Yeah, it's all one big, endless experiment. Yeah? And that's really, really, I really felt like I'm also emphasizing it for myself when I talk about now the experiment. Yeah. So in the beginning of the journey, it might appear to be controlled conditions of the experiment. That the mind is, because the mind, this is what the mind is trying to do. It's trying to control the circumstances, the cause, the effect. While actually, through my experiment, I realized I'm not in control of anything. But at the beginning, it appears like I'm controlling certain conditions. Yeah. Just so there's a framework for the experiment. So really, it's just go out there. You cannot go wrong. You really cannot go wrong. And by the way, if you so-called go wrong, your body gives a signal eventually. Yeah, we talked about, and we'll go further through the types today. But there's the stop sign, yeah, of a generator. It's the frustration of a manifester. It's the anger of a projector. It's the bitterness of the reflector. It's the disappointment. And again, by the way, the frustration is your own. Is if you're a generator, everybody has their own frustration. It's just a generic name so we can communicate in a certain level. And perhaps, I don't know, agree or resonate on that. But I've got my own frustration, and it's an experience that I cannot really tell you what it is. And you cannot really tell. We do the communication on that. Now, I don't want to get too much lost in the words and the storytelling of that, but really make it very clear that you really cannot go wrong. Yeah. What human design brings is an awareness to your experience. Again, awareness to your experience. Something happens, then you might ask, did I follow my strategy? Did I wait? Was this the correct waiting for me? Did I respond from my sacral? If it was a projector, did I initiate and not wait? Was it an invitation? No, it's really, what happened you cannot bring back, yeah? So maybe the next time you see what happens if you wait more and you don't initiate. Or if you're a manifestor, you see what happens if you start informing people. Yeah. And so on and so forth too. Again, we can dive to every aspect of that. But I really take it from Osho's words that I shared with you recently, and about the lila, about the playing life. Yeah. And this what my yoga teacher was saying back in India, you can be serious, but not too serious. And once there is less foundation, the mind is losing control. The mind tries to be serious, Hey, you're losing control of your life. You get serious, find something, do something. The mind tries to be serious, but life is to be laughed about, Again, even if you experience pain, melancholy, depression, whatever it is, yeah. And I have these times, but it's eventually so interesting that all I can do, again, maybe not at that moment specifically, but laugh about the experience, realizing that I actually have no control, that it's all one big experiment. Okay, so these are the main aspects. Yeah. experiment, see what works for you. Even if it's really out of our hands, some people still believe that they are in control, that they control their environment by their thoughts, good thoughts, bad thoughts, yeah, illuminating thoughts, whatever. And again, maybe we discover it is like that for you. I really, through experience, I really realize, that's what the mind is doing, that the body doesn't care about duality or good or bad. It doesn't have these terms. This duality is actually for the mind also to see. Yeah? The body is involved in experiencing. The body is always in the now. The body is never in the future or in the present, or in the past. Again, in a sense, it's always in the experience. And to my experience as well, the way my mind interprets the experience. So, really, I invite you to experiment, to continue experimenting and just discover for yourself, this unknown effect or law. If we talk about strategy, the unknown effect or law, or the law that strategy reduces resistance. Does it really reduce resistance for you? Yes. Okay, cool. So okay, something works. So experiment and it's not even to create, from the mind this laughter about it. It comes. Like for me, it just comes. I just see how life is. I don't know if to say ridiculous or absurd or they're all together or but to laugh about, So that was a bit about the experiment aspect. Do you have any questions on that? Anything to say?
Did you hear me?
Yeah. Would you like to share something?
Mm-mm.
Would you like to ask something?
Mm-mm.
Okay. Shall we continue?
Yeah, is it good to continue?
Yes. I'm giving you the place to share before we go to, let's say, the next step.
Mm-hmm.